Welcome back to Nightly Nonsense, where we attempt to make some sense out of nonsense, right? Again, we talked yesterday, July 4th, about this whole idea of having freedom. Do you know the date where you drew a line in the sand and you just declared your freedom from the enemy? What does that mean? Right? The nonsense all around us, you understand, is created by the enemy. He wants chaos all the time. He lives for chaos. Why? Because God is a God of order, so he is the opposite. He mimics God. He wants chaos, but he wants to accomplish things through that chaos. Right? He has an agenda. You see that in all kinds of moments in our world where it looks like it's chaotic, but there's an agenda behind it. Okay, we're gonna create some chaos so that out of it we can grow something that we want. The only problem is that the enemy is always trying to grow the things that benefit him. He's not thinking about you in any way, shape, or form. Oh, he'll make it look like he's thinking about you. The enemy rewards his own, right? But the second that he's done with you, you ever notice that? Those people that say all the words, right? They're mean, they accomplish something, and then when the enemy's done with them, they become irrelevant. They get thrown away. There's people who create chaos at work. There's people who create chaos at home, at church. The enemy uses them for great things, and then they get destroyed themselves. How many times have you put one and one together? How many times have you listened to what people have said, declared, done, and then put together what happens to them a day, a month, a year, 10 years down the road? There is a direct correlation between the things we declare, the nonsense that we make, and when God comes and says, yep, no, we need to make some sense out of this nonsense. Right? So the years following our forefathers declaring their independence from Britain, right? It took a lot. There was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of moments that were just chaotic in nature. The Boston Tea Party, organized chaos, right? All of the battles, organized chaos. People running away, people crossing, right? All kinds of rivers and oceans to get help and do all these things. There's lots of chaos all around. But in the end, there's one agenda, right? The agenda is either England's going to win the war and we fall back under them, or we're going to get our independence, right? There's agenda. So all the chaos that happens was for an agenda. That's how it works. God has an agenda. He has an agenda. He has a way of thinking, a way of doing things. The enemy has an agenda. He has a way of thinking, a way of doing things. We create nonsense. God cleans up nonsense. He reorders the nonsense that is all around us. So we need to be careful, right? We need to be thoughtful. We need to be thinking through. When you make that line in the sand, do you understand what you're saying? You're giving God permission to clean up the nonsense that you've been living. The enemy is not going to be happy about that. He's not happy about you giving control and permission for God to clean up what he's worked really hard at. It's not going to happen in your lives, not going to happen in community, not going to happen in our state or country, that the enemy is willingly going to just say, okay, he's going to fight. He's going to fight to create, to keep, maintain the chaos that's all around, the nonsense that is around us. That's part of the power of God. We have to admit to him that we've been living in a state of nonsense. It's really hard for some of us who are, like orderly. For some of us who think our life isn't so bad. For some of us who think we've gotten it all together. It's really hard to admit. When you think you have your life all together, it's hard to admit that you've been living a life of nonsense. Really, no matter how good you are, if you're not godly, you're just setting yourself up to be used by the enemy. Those are his resources that you have. Those are his, right, things that you have accomplished. You're allowing him to use you. It's black or white. You're either being used by God or you're being used by the enemy. Right? This world, all that is in it, the Bible tells us, is the enemy's. Jesus, he was given authority over it all after he died, right? But everything that's here, this worldliness, this earthly, it has the effect of the enemy on it. So are you aware of what you are declaring your independence for, and are you ready for it? Think about that, chew on that, and we'll see you next time, Nightly Nonsense.